and welcome back. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Every 2 weeks, I do a series called Nailed It, and that's nailed it with a question mark because let's face it, I don't usually nail it. But what we do is we take a look at a photo of something for inspiration and we try to recreate that or, maybe like make it your own in some way. So it's there for inspiration. And I started this to kind of get into a way to use some of the makeup that I already have. So there's only one rule, and that is that you cannot purchase anything new in order to recreate a look. And I am joined this week by several of my friends here on YouTube. We have Jennifer from All Feisty, who will be participating again this week, Yadi from Yadi Beauty, and Susanna from Susanna Torres. So they have participated last time, and Susanna has been with me every time that I've done this so far. So, I will have their channels listed down below. Make sure you check them out. And then we have two newcomers this week. We have Kelly Rettenberger from Keep Beauty Real. And if you haven't checked out her channel yet, please do so. She has the most envious hair. I absolutely love it. And she will be doing some hair tutorials occasionally, which is great. But she's also a makeup artist and has fantastic tips and tricks and wonderful videos. So if you haven't checked her out, make sure you check her out as well. We are also joined this week by Kara from Beauty in the Frizz, and Kara just hit 1,000 subscribers. So congratulations, Kara. If you haven't checked her out yet, make sure you do so. I worked with her before on the Dior holiday collection, and Kara does fantastic eye looks. Especially, my favorites from her are some of the indie brands or Pat McGrath, anything with the bright, beautiful colors. She does just incredible looks. So if you haven't checked her out, make sure you do that as well. So first, I would like to mention that if any of you would like to participate in any of these Nailed It challenges, all you need to do is DM me your photo on Instagram and you will be featured in the next Nailed It video. So for today's video, we are going to be using this look here from Hindash. And it's gorgeous. This is gonna be really hard for me to do. I'm not really sure how successful I'm gonna be, but if you would like to attempt this and share your challenge with everybody, please just DM me a photo and I will include it on the next video. What I like to do at the beginning of these challenges is take a close look at the photo and see what things or what features stand out to me about this particular look. And in this case, we are looking at flawless, more matte skin. We're looking at a beautiful classic red lip, and it looks like the lip liner around the edges is slightly darker than the actual lipstick. And then obviously the major feature here are the eyes, and they've got, like an ombre shadow that kind of goes out and around the socket here before fading away. And it's starts off brown and goes kind of like an olive green. And then there's also like a tiny little wing coming from the lower lash line. And then everything it looks like a really soft pearly pink shade on the center of the mobile lid. So those to me are the key features. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. Sometimes when I do these videos, I take a look at the photo at the beginning and then I don't look at it again until I'm done. This time, I'm going to be using a new tool. So I have a high mirror and I will be doing a video on this next week. But what it is basically, it's a mirror that can slide out. Let me see if I can show you here. I'm not sure if my cord is reaching enough, but basically I can slide it open and I can keep my photo there, or I could watch YouTube or anything like that, and I still have a mirror on half of the screen. So I'm going to be using that today to take a look at this while I am trying very hard to get this line right, and I am not good at doing like wing liner and things, so we'll see how that goes. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I have my Surratt Perfectioniste primer on my skin, as well as the NARS eye primer in Original. So I think for foundation today, we are going to go with the Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Foundation Matte, and this is the shade I-10. For under eye concealer, I'm using the Chantecaille Le Camouflage Stilo in shade 1. I'm just going to use a little bit here. For setting powder today, I'm taking the Chantecaille HD Perfecting Powder, and I'm using the Giorgio Armani Blush Brush. Just getting a tiny bit on here and just really loosely brushing that on. For a blush, I'm just going to go into this Patrick Ta blush. This is She's Sincere, and I'm using the Sonia G Designer Pro. And this blush is very, very light. It's one of those really buildable ones. And the blush on the model, you know, it's very, very light, and it's not an emphasis. I think there is a little bit of contour there as well. Maybe we should do that as well. And I do have a little texture on my cheeks today. I have been trying out the Herbivore Bakuchiol oil serum thing, and I tried it at first and it was making my skin really dry, so I stopped and kind of let my skin rest. And I tried it again last night, and then this texture appeared. So I'm not positive that's related to that, but we'll keep playing with it. I wiped off the Designer Pro, and I'm going into this. This is the Kojendo Contrast Powder and Glow, and I'm just going to get a little bit of the brown contour shade here and just put it right underneath the blush. I should have probably done this first, but I didn't really notice it before. So I'm just wiping the brush on my cloth, and I'm just gonna kind of blend those a little bit. And wiping off the brush again, I'm gonna go into the highlight on here, and it looks like she has highlight basically in the center of her face. So kind of all the way in this line here. And I don't want a ton of highlight, so we'll just use a little bit of this as finishing powder because this is super, super subtle. There we go. Oh, you know what? She's got a little bit like here-ish too. It's like this whole area. We'll see how that goes. All right, I'm gonna move you in closer and we're gonna try out the eyes. So we're gonna start out by tracing the line. I'm using the Rebel Quad from Charlotte Tilbury, which is now called Green Lights, and the Linda Hallberg 333 brush. I'm gonna go into this shade here, and I'm just gonna try to kind of line this where it's supposed to be. And it looks to me like we're going out past my socket line, so maybe to about here-ish, you know, towards where the brow ends, and then coming in to the socket area. So let's just try to line it. And I think we'll try and meet that. And then obviously this line will have to be thicker, and I gotta do the ombre, but I just wanted the shape. You know, I actually should have done this higher up. I think it's actually supposed to be here-ish. So let me see if I can get this away a little bit. See, now that is too low. Let me remove this. All right, so I'm starting here, I'm lifting up, and then bringing the socket area to it. I think I just, part of it is my eye shape's different, which is going to make a little bit of a difference, but I think that's as close as I'm going to get to the shape. Let's try the other side. Okay, they are very different. Oh, I'm going to redo this left side. All right, let's try this again. I think that's more similar. But I think the right side kind of dips a little too low. It's not going to be a huge deal where this line is because I still have to make it thicker. But I just, for the guideline, I kind of need to have something. Okay. Well, it's not great. We'll see how it ends up going. So I think what I'm going to do now is move in with the pearly pink. And I decided I'm going to use the Guerlain Meteorites Pearl Dust palette. I'm going to use the pink shade here. And then the inner corner, I'm going to use a little bit of this pearly gold. Taking the Linda Hallberg 305 into pearly pink. And I'm just going to swipe this across the lids. And just trying to get in this triangle a little. Now, to make it a little bit shinier, like it is in the photo, I'm going to use some Inglot Duraline and dampen the brush. I wiped off the brush. I'm going to go into the pearly gold, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this right in the center of the eyelid here. Then taking this Energy Smudger 1 into the pearly gold, and I'm going to bring this into the inner corner here. And I'm bringing it up because it's going to meet where I have that liner. Actually, I think I'm going to have to add a little bit white on to this because this is a little bit too gold. So let me grab something else. Using the same brush, I'm going into the Burberry Fair to Light palette in the white highlighter. I'm just going to go over the pearly gold with this. And I'm going to take a touch of the pink highlight here as well. Let me just put some of this on the lid here and see how this looks. I think I like the Guerlain pink better. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of that pink from the Guerlain. Just right up here by the line. Because I kind of got a little bit of the gold mixed in there. All right, and then I'm taking the 305 again into the white highlighter from the Burberry palette, and I'm just placing this in the center on top of where I had the gold. Now, if I were more talented at doing eyes, I would use a thicker brush for the liner, but I'm going to stick with this and make the line thicker by just doing multiples. So I'm using the 333. I'm going back into this Green Lights palette, going to the deepest shade, and I'm going to start this for this like lower portion. So I'm going over the line that I made. And I'm just making it thicker here. And then it's kind of like an ombre effect. So I'm taking the brush, I didn't wipe it off or anything, and I'm just kind of going over this area with the residue that's left. And then I'm going to go into a mix of this green shade and this brown shade here. And I'm going to just start mixing that in here. Wiping off the brush a little, and I'm going into just the green at the moment and just adding a little bit of that right there. And I'm taking the smudger one brush again, and I have no additional shadow. I wiped it off. I'm just gonna kind of feather that out so it fades into the white. So there's that. You can see I made a mess here. Let me try to get that. Okay, so I made this bottom one a little thick. So I wiped off the brush. I'm going into the Guerlain palette again, into the pink. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of this right on the inner part here of that line. Kind of thin that out a little. I think that's really the best I'm gonna be able to do. And there's also like a little wing that comes up right underneath from the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go into the dark brown for that. And I'm just, this brush is too thick, I think, actually. Hold on, let me wipe that off. It's not that the brush is too thick, but with the powder, it's making a thicker line. So I'm gonna do the other side with this first, and then I'm gonna come back and dampen the brush. All right, so I have a drop of the Inglot Durline on my hand. I'm dampening the brush in here, and I'm going to line the rest of the upper lash line with the dark shade, and I'm going to do the lower lash line. So we're going to start off with the lower, just so I can get that like a little tiny wing there. I think that's sufficient. And just go in there. And then for the upper lash line here, just going over the whole line a little bit. So these are my eyes. Let me go ahead and add some mascara. I mean, she has false lashes on. I'm not going to be doing that, but I am going to amp up the mascara a little bit. So I'm going to start off with the Chantecaille Longest Lash Mascara after I curl my lashes. This is the Surratt Eyelash Curler. All right, so this is too clumpy for me. I'm going to use the Tweezerman eyelash comb. We're gonna move on to brows. I'm using the Gucci brow pencil in number 3, Chatin, and just gonna make these a little bit deeper and more filled in, obviously. And I'm just gonna use the spoolie here, fluff them up a bit, spread out some of that powder. I'm using the Surratt Brow Pomade on top of this. So this is how I normally do my brows, but this is just a bit deeper than what I usually do. I don't usually fill it in quite so much. That might actually be filled in a little too much. Wow, that is stark. Just gonna take my towel and just kind of wipe off a little bit of that. It just seems a little bit too dark to me. Well, you know, it is what it is. We're just gonna go with it. Now let's move on to lips. For lip liner, I'm using the Chanel lip crayon in 188 Brun Carmen. So I actually think the perfect shade is this one here from Guerlain. This is number 214 from the Rouge G, but it's satin and it looks more matte in the photo. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna tap this on top, and I don't know, either we'll leave it like that or we'll powder it or something, we'll see. Just want to kind of mix it with the lip liner a bit. All right, I'm gonna blot this. And I think I'm gonna add just a touch of orange. So I'm taking this Lisa Eldridge lipstick. This is Velvet Morning and it's an orangey red shade. I'm gonna pat this on top. So this is giving it a little bit more of that matte finish. And it's also adding a little bit more warmth to it. Oops. Serves me right for doing this while talking. I'm gonna blot one more time and add a little bit more. Okay, I'm not sure what these lines are here. Must be maybe from the towel hitting my face, a little bit of lipstick, it looks like. I'm not sure. So this is my look then. So here is my look. And what do you think? Did I nail it today? I have to say, I think that it turned out better than I thought it would. I definitely don't have, you know, the crisp lines and so forth that Hindash does. He's so incredibly talented, but I think I did better than I thought I would. So that's always a plus. This is it for my version of this week's Nailed It episode. And if you would like to participate, this picture is here for your reference. It is from Hindash's Instagram as well, and I will have that posted on my Instagram in the stories. So you've got it here in the video and on Instagram. If you're interested in participating, just DM me at AlexisJong with your photo, and I will include it in the next episode of Nailed It. So don't forget to check out the videos from Susanna Torres, Yachty Beauty, All Feisty, Beauty in the Frizz, and Keep Beauty Real, and see how they did and if they nailed it or not. So I think it is always fun to try new things. And, you know, I am just a regular person who loves makeup. I'm not a professional, you know, with anything to do with makeup. So for me, it's just fun to try new things and kind of learn some new techniques and how to get things done. And I really love being able to go back into the products that I already have and figure out like new ways to use them, or, you know, maybe it's something I forgot about and this gives me an excuse to bring it out and use it and love it again. So I encourage all of you to try and participate, and thank you so much for joining in. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope to see you next time. So have a great day, stay safe and healthy, and don't forget to let me know in the comments whether or not you think I nailed it this time. So have a great day, and I'll see you soon.